All right, so station 3 is all about the quotient property. Remember, quotient just means division. So we're going to start by expanding it out. I'm going to draw my fraction bar because that part doesn't change. And I'm looking at, so you can follow along, it should be page 3, number 31. I'm going to take the top and expand it out. 3 times b to the third. So I'm going to have b, 3 times b times b times b. Then I'm going to expand out the bottom. 2 times b times b times b. Then I'm going to look for pairs. Well, actually, before I look for pairs, sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. I'm going to look at the coefficient. Can I reduce 3 over 2? And it turns out, no, you cannot, because there is no number I can divide out of 3 that I can also divide out of 2. So they stay a part of my answer. Then I'm going to look for pairs, and I'm looking for the same variable. So I have a b and I have a b here, so this makes this a pair. Those are going to, quote, cancel out, but in all actuality, they just make a 1. Then I'm going to look for another pair and look for another pair. So all my b's have essentially canceled out. Because that is the case, this is my answer. And there's no more to it. Let's take a look at 32. 32 looks to be the exact same way. Let's do this one the shortcut method. First, I look to my coefficient, 4 divided by 3. If you're curious whether or not it reduces, you can always put 4 divided by 3 into your calculator, hit the math button, and hit enter twice on frac, F-R-A-C, and that will tell you that 4 over 3 does not reduce. Now remember, the shortcut says I take the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So what's 3 minus 3? 0. And anything to the 0 power is the number 1. So my answer is done. There's no more to it. Number 33. I draw my line. Okay, 2/4 does reduce. You can put it in your calculator, put 2 divided by 4, hit the math button, hit enter twice, and you will see it will reduce to 1/2. If I did this shortcut method, I would have a to the third divided by a to the second, so I subtract 3 minus 2 and end up with an a. And since the a that's with the bigger exponent is on top, that is where my answer a goes. Or I can expand it out. I would have 2 times a times a times a over 4 times a times a. 2 over 4 reduces to 1/2. This a cancels, that a cancels, and I'm left with 1 on top. So I get the same answer either way. The other way just is a bit shorter and takes less time in case you have a lot to do. We're going to do one more. So again, we're going to begin this one with expanding it out. 2r squared. So 2r squared is r times r. Now to the bottom, 3r to the third is 3 times r times r times r. I look at my 2/3. It does not reduce. So I just write it. Then I look for my pairs. That one cancels, and I'm left with 1r, and it's on the bottom. So it stays there. If I wanted to do it shortcut, again, I would see that 2/3 does not reduce, so that would be part of my answer. 2 minus 3 is a -1, and since it's a negative, it would go to the bottom. And I'm done. Please work on the rest of the page.